has been named the country's new prime minister. The 73-year-old centrist was announced by his longtime ally, Emmanuel Macron, this Friday, putting an end to days of rife speculation after last week's dramatic resignation of Michel Barnier. Bayrou is now expected to hold talks with political leaders from other parties, and the task ahead is forming a new government, coupled with passing the crucial budget for 2025. But mounting government debt and a ballooning deficit is adding to the problems. Barnier had tried to force through that budget, leading to that no-confidence vote last week. Now Bayrou has sought to allay fears with his first words upon being appointed. Let's take a listen.
Nul plus que moi.
I know the difficulty of the situation. The question of debt and deficit is not only a financial problem, but also a moral problem. Because passing on your debts on your children in a country like ours, of mountains and deep roots, is very problematic. In such a grave situation, my policy will be to hide nothing, to neglect nothing, and to leave nothing aside.
France 24's Claire Parelin was present when the transfer of power took place between Michel Barnier and François Bayrou. Here's her account.
François Bayrou is now the man in charge of the building behind me, Matignon. The office of France's Prime Minister Michel Barnier has left the building. That transfer of power has happened. It was a reasonably warm transfer of power between the two men. They go back. They're a very similar age. They're not miles apart on the political spectrum. Michel Barnier slightly further to the right than François Bayrou, who is very much a centrist. Now, François Bayrou saying very clearly that he was well aware of the difficulties that face him now as Prime Minister. He even compared them to the Himalayas, just to give you an idea of how massive he sees those difficulties are. Number one, of course, France's deficit, writing up a budget that will redress that deficit and getting it approved by Parliament. That is what Michel Barnier was unable to do. François Bayrou is now, of course, the man of the moment. It'll be up to him, and he'll be walking a tightrope now in the next few weeks and months, trying to get enough support in France's National Assembly to survive any possible future votes of no confidence.
That's Claire Parelin from Matignon. Well, almost a direct reflection of the divisions within France's lower house. The reactions to Bayrou's appointment have spanned the entire spectrum. Let's take a look at some of them with Emily Boyle.
The appointment of François Bayrou as French Prime Minister has left many politicians unconvinced. Both sides of the political spectrum fear that Macron's long-term ally will just mean continuity, effectively ignoring this summer's snap elections.
The French people expressed their desire for change in large numbers at the ballot box last summer. But in the current state of parliament, the continuity of the country's policy cannot be that of Emmanuel Macron.
Where the National Rally Party has said they would not immediately impose a vote of no confidence, parties on the left have not been so clement.
He's trying out a different combination than Mr. Barnier, but with the same objectives, which are to pass a budget that will be austerity, a budget of austerity, which will benefit the richest. So the same punishment will be meted out by us, a motion of no confidence, very quickly, and at budget time, if it doesn't succeed.
The Green Party, also a member of the left-wing coalition of the New Popular Front, criticised the nomination. They also voiced their opposition to the possible reappointment of the right-wing Minister of the Interior, Bruno Retailleau.
If it's to keep the same people in strategic positions, including Mr. Retailleau at the Interior, if it's to do nothing about pensions, about ecology, about tax justice, I sincerely don't see what other choice we'll have than to impose a vote of no confidence when we get the chance.
The new Prime Minister's first task will be to appoint a government that can work with Parliament to pass a full budget for 2025. Members of the Socialist Party urge Bayrou not to force the budget through.
We ask that the 49.3 not be used. Mr. Bayrou must now show that he has understood the message of the French people despite his appointment, and that he will respond to their concerns, which has not been done to date.
The right-wing party Les Républicains said that their participation would be conditional on the project that the new Prime Minister François Bayrou will present to them. The handover ceremony took place at Matignon on Friday afternoon.
Let's turn to the latest from